guys, this video will show you 3 ways to decrease importance in order to attract what you want. I'm going to share with you 3 ways to go about this so that it's easy, so that you really get what you want in life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what are called Transurfing Secrets. Now there's a book that came out that's called Transurfing. It's called Reality Transurfing. It was originally written in Russian by a quantum physicist over in Russia. Now it's been translated to a whole bunch of languages. It's got some deep metaphysical type information in it that I think is absolutely transformative. What I'm going to be doing on this YouTube channel is sharing some of that information and breaking it down into bite-sized chunks that I think we can really understand, and how to think about it in a new way. The whole law of attraction process, the whole reality creation process, and how when we change the way we think about it, everything begins to change. Now, the principles are actually built on simplicity. Now, decreasing importance is a secret to the whole process of manifestation in general. Now, normally, they say that in a lot of law of attraction teachings that desire is something that is so good, because when we desire it, we have to have a white-hot burning desire, which back in the day I think was very relevant. I think it can still work now. Understand that at the fundamental basis, whatever we believe to be true will turn out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if we are focused in the process that we think about the law of attraction when it comes to having a desire, what happens is that will become something that's true for us. But what I'm saying is there are more efficient ways to go about it. And reality transurfing is one of those. And what I'm saying today, I encourage you to try for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. I read this book. I was kind of going through it. I thought the ideas were cool. I said, let me try this in my own life. And then I saw amazing results. Now I'm sharing it on my YouTube channel. So try it out for yourself. See if it works for you. But the idea behind decreasing importance is that when we do that, we close the gap of us being able to experience what we want. Now think about it. If you have, and you put someone on a pedestal, maybe somebody that you have a crush on, and you put this person on a pedestal, what happens is the moment you make them more important than they really are, what happens is then they start to distance themselves from you. You'll feel it almost as if it's just happening. Now, the idea behind this is that the way the energy in the world works is that there's always balancing factors coming into play. And if you give something excess meaning or excess importance, what happens is you create what is called excess potential. And then these forces come into play to balance out that energy. So you may notice that if you really desire something to happen, you feel almost desperate for it to happen, that it feels like it's almost not going to, or things happen to where it just doesn't. And that's simply because that was that balancing force that was coming into play to make it so that it was more of a balanced type energy. So that's the idea behind decreasing importance. When we decrease importance, amazing things can happen. If you take your goals, you have an intention for your goals, but you make it not the most important thing in the world, you see it as a natural part of who you are for you to attain those goals, it will become so much easier for you to accomplish them. That's what I've been realizing. That's one of the most powerful points that I've learned from reality transurfing. And now let's get into the 3 things we can do to decrease the importance. I had to first off explain that, otherwise it's like, why would I want to decrease importance? Now the first one has to do with making sure it's in alignment with the self-image that we have. Now think about it. If I view myself as somebody that's not worthy of having something in my life, but I'm intending for something to happen, and it's something that's all the way up here because it's so important, I create resistance in the present moment and I can't actually see it. Now let me give you an example of this. I remember that I was assuming that when our channel, this channel, hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, that it was going to be this feeling. It was like this feeling of confidence, or this feeling of like, I was definitely grateful when it happened. I was very excited when it happened, but I thought it was going to be like this really extravagant feeling. Like everywhere I walk, I was just going to feel totally different about myself. Now, this is the funny thing, is I remember I went to bed one night, I was at 98,000 subscribers, and I woke up the next morning, it was at 101. So 3,000 subscribers overnight because the video was starting to go viral. Now, what happened was I realized that after about a couple hours of feeling, it was like, yes, we hit our goal of 100,000. These daily videos have been paying off. I've been putting so much work into it, trying to help so many people, with the law of attraction, understand more about who they are. It feels so great. But this is the thing. After that, what happens? The mind kicks in and says, okay, now let's up the ante. How about 200,000 subscribers? How about 150,000 subscribers? How about 250,000? That's how the mind works. So because of that, it's almost like we're always having like a carrot on the stick. There's always just a little bit further to go. But the key to this is to understand that that goal is just a part of who I am. That goal is a part of my self-image, right? Like that's something that's just natural for me to accomplish because I'm doing my passion. Now also remember this when it comes to your passions, and this is also talked about in the book Reality Transurfing, that your goals many times maybe, and a lot of people's goals in general, are kind of in a way misguided because people are focused on the means rather than the end. So what I mean by this is you might have a goal and you might think that your passion is to hit, to make $1 million, right? But that's not really a goal in itself. You see, we have to align our head to our heart, and our heart doesn't understand $1 million because the $1 million is a side effect of something that we provide for other people, even if that something is just passion, or even if it's just an emotion. But the idea is that because we're focused on something that isn't really a goal in itself that the heart can understand, we don't actually experience more of that. So part of your self-image, make that understanding that your passion is the fuel, and the side effect of that is the money that comes with that, is the freedom that comes with that. When you change these ideas around, I promise you, it can change just about everything in the experience because now you're relating to it in a completely new way. So realize that when you change your self-image, everything begins to change, and as you see, it's just natural for you to accomplish what you want. If it's a relationship you don't have it in your life, it's just natural for you to meet people that resonate with you, to start to put yourself out there. It's natural for you, and because of that, you loosen that gap between the importance you're giving things, and it's just something that flows more so than anything else. Now, the second way that we can decrease importance is by simply changing the why that we want something. Now, the why is always more powerful than the what, and when we get to the core of why we want something, we become aware of the hidden intentions that might be under it. So maybe you have an intention to for example, just using that, get into a relationship or meet somebody that you connect with. Now ask yourself why you want this. Now if what comes up is that you think that why you want it and you realize that maybe you just want to feel validated by someone else, like maybe you're not consciously going to think that right away, but if you do some digging, you may see, you know what, I just feel more validated when I'm around other people. Well, what happens is the importance then is put on a kind of a pedestal because what's happening is you're attaining part of who you are with attachment to somebody else and having somebody else because of your self-worth. But if you start to become aware of what that is, that's where the power is. And the power of all of reality transurfing, and really just in general, that's what this channel is about, is expanding awareness. Become aware of whatever those beliefs are. And if a belief says, I need to be in a relationship because it increases my self-worth, and if you can dig down and see that that's where the belief may be coming from, you can start to change the why. And when you change the why, all of the energy changes. Now let me give you an example of that. What you do is instead of having a why because you'll feel more validated or you feel lonely and you don't want to be there right now, instead of that, it's part of the natural process of who you are, and you want to share your energy with someone else. You want to have somebody there to bounce ideas back and forth. That's why you want to spend your time with someone that you love to be around. You want to have that creativity be with you and somebody else. You see, when you change those little aspects, and you can go deeper, depending upon what your desires are, but when you go deeper into that aspect, that's when you start to become more aware of what the why is. And as you just sit down, you can write down on a piece of paper why you want what you want. If you want $1 million, why is that? Why do you believe that $1 million will get you what you want when really the goal should be the passion for what will bring the $1 million? Maybe it's creating content on YouTube. Maybe it is you drawing and being an artist. Maybe it is you doing and running a company or being a manager. Whatever it is, just be aware of what that is, but realize that the goal is not the money. The goal is more so the passion, but become aware of why you want that, and then you can change around the why and realize you can make the why something that's much more relatable, something that's much easier to connect to. Now, the third way to decrease importance is it has to do with taking action. Now, this also has to do with desire. Desire is something that in reality transurfing is not powerful in itself. Now, desire can many times lead to intention. Intention is the sweet spot. Intention is where everything is that you want to create. When you create intention in your life, you are choosing your life experience. Now, the idea behind this is that if I have, and I've used this analogy many times, but it's easy to kind of get the point across, if I have a desire right now to lift up my arm, the desire does absolutely nothing. Only when that desire is then chosen to be an intention, I say, you know what, I'm going to choose to put my hand up right now, then it becomes something that is translated into something that's powerful. But desire in itself is not powerful. Now, the best way to dissolve desire is to either decrease importance, which is what we're talking about, or to take action. Because when you take action, you dissipate that excess potential. So that excess potential exists when anytime we make something more important than it really is, or anytime that we are desiring something we don't already have. So this also makes you change the process a little bit. Now imagine this. Imagine instead of wanting to attract something over there into your life, imagine that it was a part of a larger purpose for that thing to attract you as well. So it could be if you're attracting a specific person or a general type person, whatever it is, you have an intention to do so. And what you could also assume is that it's also part of like a divine order that the other person meets you as well. It's almost part of a larger intention for that person to be attracting you. So then you change the script a little bit, because anytime we try to attract something from over there to into here, what happens is we assume that it's separate from us, when really there's something called unity consciousness, which everything is a reflection of who we are. So that's a different topic, that's a deeper type idea, but nonetheless, if you want to dissipate that excess potential, what you can do is start to take action. Just simply take action, because when you do that, you dissipate that excess potential and you make it much more likely that you can really experience what you want. Now, to help you raise your vibrational set point, that's something I think is so powerful, because in the reality creation process, or creating what we want, when we create from a higher point of view or a higher paradigm, things happen much easier. That's why I'm sharing reality transurfing with you, because I think it's a higher level paradigm that, even though may require some work, when you learn how to do it, it changes everything. It changes your energy and it changes how you feel. Now that's why I've created a free guided meditation that will help you raise your vibrational set point. This is a newer meditation that I've created, a little bit different from my Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind one, but nonetheless I think it is very powerful. You can download it for absolutely free. It's going to be in the description box below, and that will help you to create from a higher level paradigm. So remember that all you have to do to decrease importance is to first off see it a part of your self-image. See it as natural for you to achieve your goals. Remember that your goals are not specifically to get a certain type of money, be in a certain type of relationship. Your goals really are to express yourself 100%, to be passionate about what you do, and then as you do that, the side effect is the money, the side effect is the relationship, the side effect is whatever else you want to create in your life. That as you do that, what you can then decide is you're going to change the why you want things, and if you have something that you're giving excess meaning to, excess potential, you can change the why to something that's more grounded, to something that resonates more, and then beyond that, if you find you're having too much desire, you can dissipate that desire by taking action and understanding that as you do that, you are embodying who you prefer to be, and everything begins to change. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video. If you guys have liked it, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Hit that little notification here so that you guys can see the daily vids that I do. That's the way YouTube does things now, is you actually have to hit that button to see the daily vids. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.